Hey y'all, it's Katie and welcome back to KateMas. Today we're going to be looking at my best in beauty for 2019. Now, I tried to be really picky because I felt like when I did my revisiting favorites from 2018, I had a lot of products and a lot of products from like certain categories. I just had a lot of favorites, and I felt like with me being a review channel and always trying new things, I didn't get to go back and use them as much as I would have liked, even though I felt like the majority of them I still thought were great products. I tried to be a little bit more picky this year in picking my favorites and trying to think of products that I can foresee myself continuing to use and love and recommend in 2020. So I have a bit of a smaller list. I think I haven't counted it out, but it was smaller than my first kind of run through of my makeup collection, and I'm going to share it with you today. What at the end of 2019, what products stood out to me the most, what products do I love, and what do I foresee myself continuing to reach for in 2020, even with all the new products launches that are going to be coming at us next year. So anyway, if that sounds good to you, let's just go ahead and jump right into it. Okay, so first up, I forgot to say, if you want to see my palette favorites from 2019, that is in a separate video and should already be live, so I'll go ahead and leave linked up here my top 10 eyeshadow palettes from 2020 because that needed a video all its own. Who's surprised? But anyway, let's go ahead and jump into foundations. There were two that stood out to me the most. The first one for very lightweight type of foundation, I really enjoyed the L'Oreal Infallible, what is this, 24-hour Fresh Wear Foundation. This was just a gorgeous foundation. It was one of the first kind of new foundations I started testing once I was getting back into, you know, reviewing stuff and whatnot here on my channel. And I just found it to be very lightweight on my skin. It lasted beautifully throughout the day. It gave me nice coverage, nothing crazy, but it gave me some coverage and just sat so nicely. Like, it was so comfortable to wear. It looked so nice, and I just remember so many times at the end of the night I would get up close in my mirror and look and be like, it still looks really, really good. And blending it in was a dream. Brush, sponge, whatever. It just was gorgeous, and yeah, it's a foundation I continue to love. I tend to reach for it if I have to go somewhere or like go on a trip, go on a vacation, whatever the case is, I have to leave for a day and need to do my makeup away from my makeup table. This is one I reach for just because it's just a great kind of just all around foundation. It's nothing too heavy, but it's nothing super light, so it'll give you some coverage, but you know, you're not overdoing your makeup or whatnot. So I just really enjoyed it, and the month I tried it, I reached for it so much, and then I've reached for it a little bit since then, and I can definitely foresee myself reaching back into my collection and grabbing this a good bit in the year 2020. The other foundation that really impressed me when I wanted more full coverage is the Maybelline Superstay. Yeah, Superstay Full Coverage Foundation. I have the cover on backwards. This little guy here, it is the foundation I have on my face today, and it's just lovely. I think my favorite way to apply this so it doesn't get too heavy is to use a sponge, just to make sure it doesn't get too cakey. But with a sponge, I did one full pump of this on the back of my hand, and I went and did my face with a sponge, and I still had a good bit left on the back of my hand when I was done with my face, so a little bit goes a very long way. It blends out very nicely and just gives a very light covering. Like, it sits lightly on your skin, but it's still gives really good coverage in my opinion. Like, I feel like, you know, nothing's really covering this little zit I have going on. But besides that, overall, I just feel like my face looks very airbrushed and flawless, and just I feel like it has everything to do with this foundation. And then kind of in the same story as the L'Oreal, wear time on this is very, very pretty. Like, it will settle into the lines of my face, forehead, and I have a line on like a smile line, mostly on one side of my face, not so much on the other, kind of funny. But anyway, it will settle into there a little bit and around my nose throughout the day, but nothing bad. It doesn't wear off weird. It doesn't kind of bunch up weird on my chin or anything like that, or around my mouth. So overall, I was just very impressed when I tried this out. I tried it out towards the beginning of the year, and then I reached back for it. I reached back for it when Emily Noel mentioned she wore this when she delivered, and so I was like, oof, that sounds like a really good foundation. Let me check it out and like pull it back into my collection. And she didn't steer me wrong, because it is a solid foundation, and on the days when I'm wanting more coverage than this, or maybe just a little better wear time than this has been giving it to me, and is a foundation I definitely want to get a lot of use of in 2020, just because it's such a nice foundation you don't have to worry about. You know when you put it on, it's going to look great all day long. I only have one concealer that really blew my socks off this past year, but it is the Catrice Liquid Camouflage High Coverage Concealer. Now, I wouldn't call this crazy high coverage like Tarte Shape Tape or anything super intense, but it is the most comfortable concealer that is lightweight yet still gives really good coverage. I have it on my under eyes today, and I feel like you can still see some darkness, but personally for me, I don't mind that. I feel like I don't need it to look like you know, every bit of darkness gone from my under eyes. I don't mind that a little bit shows through. My focus when I'm reaching for a concealer is something that will give me coverage and then also remain very lightweight and not look cakey throughout the day, because that's one thing I don't like with really full coverage concealers like the Tarte Shape Tape, is that even if you get it blended out really nice, it just settles and creases in all your fine lines, and then it just looks so very heavy right in here where it just kind of bunches up, and then as you know, you sweat and whatnot throughout the day, it doesn't look good on me personally. For my preferences, I don't like how it looks. So this gives me all the coverage that I want with the lightweightness that I like, and I just cannot get over what a good concealer this is. And if you can't tell, I really like it. I have no idea how much longer this is going to last, but I just recently bought a backup because it's looking pretty empty in there, and I do not want to be without this. And it's so affordable. I can't remember the price off the top of my head, but Catrice is relatively affordable. So I want to say $5, maybe $4. I can't remember. Very good price, and totally was a favorite standout concealer from this past year. Moving on to powders, this just really impressed me, and this is the Maybelline Fit Me Loose Finishing Powder. It is such a nice powder, and I really need to take it and compare it beside the Coty Airspun, because I feel like everything I loved and enjoyed about the Coty Airspun, I find in this powder, except it's a little bit better. I feel like it's a little bit lighter on my skin, and it doesn't have the smell. So I want to pull that out and kind of compare them side by side, but I just haven't been able to yet. But I have compared this powder specifically alongside a couple high-end ones like the Hourglass, like the Cover FX one, and I feel like this holds up or outperforms a lot of the high-end ones that I've compared it to. So I feel like right there, that's very impressive. There are so many days when I'll put a high-end one on one eye to set under my eye and even set my whole face, and then I'll use this one on my other side, and you can barely tell a difference. Sometimes there's a little bit of a difference. Sometimes I feel like this one performs even better. So I love this powder, and I feel like I'm going to go through it quickly, and I'm going to repurchase it just because it's such a finely milled powder, but it's not too fine like that HD type of powders. You can get them in different colors. This is in Fair Light, so I feel like it gives me a little bit of color to my face. And yeah, it's great. It's great for setting my under eyes. It's great for setting my face. I just all around love this powder, and I feel like I have been raving about it a good bit, so this should come as no surprise that this stood out to me, and I can foresee myself definitely going through this but having to repurchase. Okay, so for bronzer and contour, I kind of just lumped the two into the same category. I have two products that really stood out to me. The first is, I don't think a new product at all, but it is from Causemetics, and it's their bronzer in the shade Matte, I think. This little guy here. The only con is so hard to open, but it is this guy right here. I think it's just in the color Matte. I don't know. I have it on today as my bronzer, so I used it to kind of give me more color around the perimeters of my face, and then I did bring it down a little bit on into my like contour area, but very lightly. I used the next product we're going to talk about to really chisel out my cheekbone. But anyway, this I feel like is the perfect type of bronzer that I like for my skin tone. Now I think everyone has their own personal preferences, but I've found over the past year or two that I really am not the craziest fan of very orange or warm looking bronzers on my skin. I just like the cool tone aspects. I feel like it looks better throughout the day. It looks better on me. It doesn't make me look so like Oompa Loompa, and I don't know if it's just something with my undertone or what, but I just like more cool tone leaning bronzers, and especially like contours cool tone, of course, but bronzers even, I feel like I just like them to be leaning more cool tone. And this, while there's warmth in there, it's not that warm. It's not that orangey, and it is a very sheer type of formula, so I find that I don't have to worry about like going extra and like going too heavy and being like, oh shoot, now I have to spend a year blending this out. I can really put my brush in there, not really have to be too careful, and then go around my face, and it just diffuses beautifully. It builds up nicely. There's no harsh lines or skipping or anything like that, and I just feel like the tone is perfect for me and for what I like in a bronzer. So it's great for every day. It's great for when I'm going full glam. I just feel like it's a great all-in-one powder, and yeah, I really, really like it. And then the other product I like is the Milani Sun Kissed, I think it's a Silky Matte Bronzer in the shade Sun Kissed 02. This guy right here, I believe it came out this past year. I tried it this past year, and it is absolutely gorgeous. This is what I do have kind of right here in the hollows of my cheekbones, and I feel like it just gives me the perfect contour. This is what I always like to reach for when I want a really good cool tone bronzer. It just gives it to me. so easily, and kind of in the same vein as the Cargo. It's not intensely pigmented, as you can see, but it builds up really nicely and easily. And I honestly prefer contours and bronzers that aren't super pigmented, because if you go in too heavy, it can take so much work to buff out and blend out, and then you have issues with like it kind of catching in weird areas. I just tried a Tarte palette that had a contour and bronzer in there, and I had so many days where I would go in too heavy or just apply too heavy or hard in one spot, and it would skip and catch and do weird things. I never have to worry about it with either of these two bronzers, contours that I'm talking about, and that's my preference. And as you can see, I feel like these two make the perfect combo for me when it comes to my everyday, just my go-to, the product I can trust when it comes to bronzers and contours. And yeah, I cannot get over how much I love this. I have pulled this back into my collection multiple times, and I see a serious dip in there. Still no pan, but I expect to hit pan in 2020 because I use it that much. I'm going to be very brief on this one because it is discontinued, but this is the Anastasia Beverly Hills Amrezy Highlighter. It is stunning. All my friends who raved about this did not steer me wrong, because there is something extra special about this. It gives so much shine. There's not like glitter chunks. It's more of that baked type of formula, so it's not super powdery. It doesn't take a whole lot of work to build up on your cheekbones, and it is just absolutely stunning. Ever since I bought it, I can't stop reaching for it. I can't stop using it, and yeah, it is a stunning highlighter, and there was a reason for all the hype behind this. And like I said, I almost didn't put it in because it is discontinued, but in the year 2020, I know I'm going to be reaching back for this highlighter and using it a lot, so that's why I decided to include it. The other highlighter is what I have on my cheekbone today, or the top of my cheekbone. It is the Milani Afterglow Highlighter in Strobelight 901, I think it is what it's called. It's a little like mini. I got it with a purchase at Ulta. It was like a freebie with an Ulta purchase I made, and I was like, huh, I'll give the highlighters a try. I never tried them before, but I'd heard good things. I feel like they came out with a highlighting palette that everyone loved, but I'm not like super into palettes when it comes to cheek products because I just never think to use them. So anyway, when I got this in my order, I was like, oh great, I got to use it, and it's just, you know, tiny. I don't have to buy the full size. This highlighter is really good, and I feel like, I don't know if it's just because it's an older release, but I feel like nobody talks about it, but like, do we see this? I feel like it took no work to get this built up on my skin, and it is just an absolutely stunning highlighter. It's more of a powdery highlighter, so I do kind of make sure I go in carefully with a brush not to get too much powder kick up. Let me see where I can swatch this right here. But it's so pretty and blinding. That's a really weird spot. But as you can see, it's very pigmented, very shiny, very reflective. It's a beautiful highlight that gives a lot of reflex, and like I said, took no work to build up. Doesn't have any glitter chunks, which is something I just don't like. I feel like whenever there's a highlighter that has a lot of glitter in it, I just find that I get it all over my face, and I don't like that. I just want a streak of a really pretty highlight that I can buff into my skin that looks natural and not just have like a stripe. I'm not one of those people that just want to be like seen from space and whatnot and just like a streak of highlight. I like it to look well blended in around the edges and almost natural, even though I know it's intense, it's not natural, but you know what I mean. So anyway, I just could not believe how beautiful this was. I can't remember what month I used this. I might not even have reviewed it on my channel, but I do remember trying it for a month and then just honestly kind of forgetting about it in my collection. And when I was going through my collection to see like, okay, what product stood out to me this past year, I saw this and I was like, I think I remember liking this. So I pulled it back out to try, and I was like, oh my goodness, yes, this is stunning. I absolutely love it, and it's a highlighter. Like I said, maybe because it's so small, I forgot about it in my collection, but I definitely want to be reaching for it a lot more in 2020, and yeah, it was just a really beautiful highlighter that I tried new in 2019, and that really impressed me. This little guy impressed me a whole lot. Okay, so that is all the face products. We're going to move on to the eyes. Like I said, my palettes are in a different video. I've already linked up here, and it'll be down below, but let's talk about what I put on my eyes besides eyeshadow palettes. The first thing I have to talk about is the Vamp stamp. I want to say I reviewed this originally in either January or February of 2019, and I've been using it every day, basically every day. I'm not going to sit here and say every day, but almost every time I do my makeup and almost every time I do a wing, I've been using this ever since then. So that we're coming up on a year here that I have been using these solid day in and day out. I have a video coming in January though. I did just pre-film it for after the baby comes, but I have a video demoing this and kind of going more into what I love about it, why I recommend it, why I don't think it's a gimmick, and why it's just an awesome product that I think anyone who likes doing their wings needs to have. So that is going to be coming. Stay tuned for that, but I could not forget to include this in my yearly favorites because I know I'm going to be continuing to love and use this every single day in 2020 and in 2021, 2022, and so on, because it just makes doing your wing liner so easy. It's how I got my wing today. It's amazing. I absolutely love it, and I would not be without this. Wing liner, I discovered a new favorite. I do have this. Is what I use to line my eyes and then to connect into my wing, but this is the Essence Super Precise Eyeliner. Long-lasting and waterproof. I don't know if they have different versions, but this guy right here, I'll have it linked down below. This is really amazing. Now, I feel like I still love my NYX matte liquid liner a little bit more. It's the same type of tube, but if that's ever out of stock, check this out. And also, I think this is like $2.50. It's ridiculously affordable, and I just couldn't get over the price tag, but this is absolutely lovely. It goes on so easily, so smoothly. It dries down to a matte finish. It dries very quickly, but it still gives you time to work with it, and it's not like, I know I tried one from CoverGirl this past year that if you didn't work with it quickly enough, like making sure you had your eyeliner how you liked it before it dried down, it would start to get thick and build up. I never experienced that with this. Even if my eyeliner, like right now, with it being done and dried for hours, if I wanted to go and kind of make a thicker wing or something like that, I could do it with this, go back over, and wouldn't get thick or weird or bunchy or anything like that. So I love that about it too. The only kind of con I've seen with this, and that puts it like one step below the NYX matte liquid liner, is that depending on the shadow you have, especially if you have like metallic or glitter, you might have to go over the line 2 times to really get it to be opaque, because it can get a little sheer if you have something very thick or glittery or chunky on your eyes. But you go over it twice and it's just as opaque as the NYX one, so I don't mind taking that extra step, but I do like to mention if there's any kind of con to a product. But like I said, even with that, I absolutely love this, and I will definitely be repurchasing it and using it in the year 2020. And yeah, it's just a solid product, and like I said, so affordable. I almost didn't want to put this in there, but I do have to because I use it a lot now. Let me explain. So I am putting as a favorite from the year the MoxieLash lashes, specifically in Sassy lashes, but also their liquid magnetic liner. Now, when I reviewed this at the beginning of the year, I rewatched my video and I actually kind of named it as a fail from the month because I was using it. I think I wore lashes like every day for a week, and I found that wearing lashes, magnetic lashes on my eyes every day, they just are too sensitive to handle it. Something about either something in here or the magnetic just being pressed against my skin of my eyelid, they're just too sensitive, and I would get a reaction or just kind of almost like a rug burn effect on my eye when I try to wear it every day. So I named it as a kind of a fail, and I wanted to find something better. Well, I've tried a lot of magnetic lashes this past year, 5 different brands. And these have just risen to the top as being the best. Now, I can, like I said, still the same story. I cannot wear them every day or my eyelids will hate me and they will be so sore and in so much pain. But if I want to wear these for a special occasion going out somewhere, I had family pictures taken a couple weeks ago, and that was the first time in my life I'd ever worn false lashes. And I wore these because I knew that I could do my makeup and put, these lashes on, go take pictures, come back a couple hours later, take my lashes off, and they wouldn't budge and they wouldn't pop up on the inner corner. And that's something I've never done before. I have worn lashes a lot in videos, but I think there's been maybe 2 other times in my life where I have put on traditional lashes, like with the glue and stuff like that, and left my house, and typically it's just for like an hour or 2 and not for a big occasion, because I can never count on my eyes not watering or the glue not coming undone or my eyes not being so irritated I have to remove them, and then you have the weird like missing line on your eye from where you remove the lashes. So I never wear lashes out and about in my everyday life except for MoxieLashes, because they are ones, like I said, I can put them on and I know they're going to stay until I remove them at the end of the night, because this liquid liner is so bomb. It doesn't come off when my eyes water or if my eyes tear or anything like that. And then my favorite style specifically is Sassy Lashes. They have a couple more dramatic and then I think one more less dramatic, but Sassy Lashes is kind of like the perfect in between for me. They're very dramatic, don't get me wrong, but well, let me do them on this side. But I'm comfortable with this drama whenever I do want to wear lashes. So thinking about that and thinking about how, like I said, these lashes are the first time I've ever worn false lashes for like professional pictures ever in my life, and these are the only lashes that I will put on if I want to go out for a special occasion. I had to name them as a favorite from this past year because in the year 2020, if I want to wear lashes and go out and actually, you know, I don't know, date night, Christmas party, who knows, whatever the case may be, more family pictures, these are the lashes I will put on if I want to wear lashes for that occasion, because I just can't depend on the traditional type of false lashes, just because if they pop up, like, I'm not expert enough on false lashes to fix it and make it look good. So I had to name these as favorites from 2019. Okay, we are almost done here. For brows, I love the Thrive Causemetics Instant Brow Fix Semi-Permanent Brow Gel. I rewatched the video and I think I put this as okay, maybe a fail. I think I put this product as an okay product, but as I've used it more since then, I absolutely love this. Now, the only one con that I can feel that I see with this product, besides not really holding my lashes in place, they kind of still do move, is that it's very pigmented, and especially when you first open it, you have to be careful not to go too ham or you'll just get too much gel or too much brow product in your brows. So that can be a little touchy when you're first opening the tube. But I've been using this, I've used it solid for like 3-4 months, you know, bringing it back into my collection or whatnot, and I feel like it's at the perfect point right now. It's still very pigmented, it's not drying out, don't get me wrong, but I absolutely love how this applies, how it wears, how it helps me tint my brows, and I feel like I can use this on my brows and I don't have to use anything else. Like, I have them in my brows today and I feel like my brows look filled in. Like, and this is so tiny and precise, this brow wand, whatever you call it, and you can also bend it a little bit, so sometimes I bend it more to really help me, you know, push up and get that line. But yeah, this is just a really great one and done type of brow product. I can take this and I'll take time to really make sure, you know, the product is touching my skin, and it will tint the skin very nicely. It stays all day. It doesn't smudge, it doesn't come off, and like I said, what do you guys think? I feel like my brows look like I filled them in. I feel like they look tinted nicely. This color is, I think, my perfect color for my brows is in Serena, because my brows are a little bit darker than my natural hair color on my head. But yeah, I cannot get over how much I love this. I do know that Thrive Causemetics is in some Ulta stores, and I'm hoping that means that the whole brand will come into Ulta online here in 2020, because this is definitely a product I want to repurchase. I tend to not get too excited when it comes to brow products just because I don't really care to do my brows, but this makes me excited to do my brows because it'll look like I spent a lot of time, but it won't take that much more time than a traditional, you know, brow gel that you just run through your brows. And I mean, it even like fills in the little bald spot I have here from a scar. It fills in, you know, the front part here where it's just tends to be always a little bit more sparse and whatnot. And I can use it because it's so thin and precise. I can use this to really come down and form that tail and kind of tint the skin there to define the tail where you just naturally have less brow hairs. It's an awesome product. I cannot recommend enough, and I do know that when this runs out, if I don't find anything else cheaper at the drugstore, which I haven't to date yet found something that compares to this, I will be repurchasing. I also have to name the NYX Glitter Goals Liquid Eyeliner as a favorite from this past year. This is very, in my opinion, comparable to the Urban Decay Heavy Metal Glitter Liners. And you guys know I love to do the cut crease, just half of it being glitter whenever I do a matte look like today. I meant to put this on, but I honestly just totally forgot. My bad. But I love doing that, but the Urban Decays can get rather expensive, and it's nothing I go through that quickly because I'm only doing a line, so it always hurts to spend that much money on a product that I feel like I won't even get through half of it before it goes bad. So this is like a wonderful, perfect alternative drugstore dupe to those because it gives me the same effect. It stays just as nicely in my crease as the Urban Decay Heavy Metal. I don't experience any flaking and I don't experience any glitter fallout with it. So it's just an amazing product. I will say that I don't know if it's just because I used it so much or if it's just going bad quicker than the Urban Decay, but I definitely feel like it's a little bit more dried out at this point. Why did I swatch it there? That's so awkward. Anyway, I do feel like it's a little bit thicker now than when I first opened it. I can't even remember when I bought this. I should have looked into that, but I feel like it's a little bit thicker. Like I said, I've been using this one specifically a lot ever since it came into my collection, so maybe I've just been using it, opening it, and you know, more air is getting to it, so it's going bad a bit quicker. But I can't remember how much this is. It's not that expensive though, because it is drugstore. You can get it on sale, and yeah, I still want to try more shades. I can totally foresee myself repurchasing and replacing my heavy metal glitter liners with these just because they perform just as beautifully and they're a lot more cheaper. Okay, so that is it for face and eyes. We are moving on to lips, and I only have two favorites to name for this year. The first one, when I'm wanting to go really heavy and like put on a liquid lipstick that I know is not going to budge all day, I have to give it to the Menagerie Velvet Matte Liquid Lipsticks. I should hold on this side. These are beautiful, stunning liquid lipsticks, and I purchased this one. She included these two in our Whale Song order because the Whale Song took so much longer to arrive, and I'm so glad she did because this shade I absolutely love, and this one I also really enjoy for the more fun days, but this is kind of like my perfect deeper type of mauve tone. It is stunning, but the reason I love this product so much and it just stands out to me so very much is because, number one, super opaque. Do you see that? But it's also very thin. It's a very thin type of liquid lipstick formula, which is my preference. It reminds me of the Pixi Matte Last liquid lipsticks, that type of formula. It's very thin, maybe even thinner than Pixi. But it's very thin like Pixi, and it coats your lips with one stroke. You don't have to go back over and build it up at all, and it dries down nicely, and once it dries down, this does not move. Now I will say, like, make sure you don't put your lips together before this is drying down. If you're new to liquid lipsticks, they are best, they perform best, and they feel the best, and they wear the best when you put it on and then keep your lips a little bit apart. Don't smack them together like a regular lipstick until they're dry. And then once they're dry, this baby is set. It does not go anywhere. There were several times that I wore this and I'd put it on in the morning around 9 or 10 when I got ready, and then I would go out and have lunch. I'm pregnant. I have like, I have so many meals throughout the day. I feel like I'm always eating. I had dinner and then I went to take my makeup off at the end of the night, and it looked almost as perfect at night as it did at the beginning of the day. It still wore off a little bit on the inner part of my lip, but like if I was smiling or talking, you really couldn't see it. And if I kept my mouth closed, you really didn't notice that there was a line where it was wearing off. It was a very graceful, very gentle type of wear. So this just was a product that really blew me out of the water with how comfortable it was to wear, how long wearing it was, and then how beautiful it looked on my lips. And last up, this is also a liquid lipstick, but in my eyes, I kind of see it as just like a lipstick. This is the L'Oreal, I think it's like their Rouge something line. It's their fancy line. I don't know what it's called because it's not on the bottle anywhere. I don't know why they didn't put it on there. But anyway, it's this type of liquid lipstick. This is such a thin formula. I always have to make sure I shake it up because it's literally like water. Like, no joke. When you put this on your lips, you feel like you're just applying water. There's what she looks like. It almost kind of reminds you and applies like you would think a stain would apply, like a lip stain would apply. But yeah, you put it on, it's like water. It does dry down like a liquid lipstick would, and it will give that kind of liquid lipstick, you know, all matte look to it, but it still gives a little bit of life to your lips. So it kind of wears and looks almost like a regular lipstick. I wore these a lot in November and even some of the videos at the beginning of December. And I feel like I got a lot of compliments or just comments about like, the lipstick looks really nice today and whatnot. And even when I was editing, I felt like it always just looked nice. It wasn't super matte like a traditional matte liquid lipstick look where it just kind of all dries down and there's no sheen to it. I feel like there's still a little bit of sheen with this formula that just gives some life to your lips. Now, because it is such a thin formula, if you're wanting to get a really intense color, you do have to go over a couple times, but I kind of just like it as more of a lip stain and just like a lighter type of liquid lipstick or just a lipstick look on my lips, but it still doesn't transfer like a lipstick. So that's what I love about it. Now, as I said, it's kind of like a lipstick in that once I eat, it's pretty much gone, but the fade is very nice. So I do appreciate that about it, but it doesn't have any type of wear or, you know, just resilience to it to hold up to any type of food, at least in my experience. But if you like a very natural type of look to your lips, if you like a very lightweight type of formula, this is beautiful and I enjoyed it so very much. And I think I purchased, I don't know where they all are. They must be like in my purse or something, but I think I have 4 of them now. And I can totally foresee myself getting more in the year 2020 just because it's so comfortable to wear. And yeah, it's nice. If my lips are in a little bit of a bad place, I can put this on and get away with it. And it doesn't look crazy terrible or accentuate the bad parts of my lips or whatnot. So cannot rave about this enough. This formula really impressed me. Okay, so there you have it. Those are my best of beauty for 2019. I feel like I started this video out saying I didn't pick too much. I was very picky. And then now looking at it, I'm like, boy, you picked out a lot of products, Katie. So I'm so sorry. I tried to pare it down as much as I could. I tried to be short and sweet, but I'm looking at a lot of footage over here that I have to edit out. So we'll see what the final video looks like. But I hope you guys enjoyed it and found it informative. And I know a lot of these products are not going to come as a surprise to some of you, but I just had to rave about these products one more time and share with you guys the products that stood out to me out of all the products I tested and tried over the year 2019. I did forget to say there is a giveaway going on throughout the entire month of December. 3 different winners, open international. If you're interested in entering, better get to it because there's only a little bit left of December, but I will have the link down in my description box and I'll go ahead and link it up here if you want to go watch that video to see how to enter and what prizes are included. But yeah, that is going to do it for this video. This is my final video for KateMas. This is going to go live on Christmas Day. I hope you guys enjoyed KateMas. It was a lot of fun to put out videos every day. It was definitely challenging and we definitely had a couple bumps along the road of, you know, just life making it interesting, but I had a lot of fun and I hope you guys enjoyed it. I have no idea when I'm going to get back into the swing of things because the time that you're watching this, Christmas Day, I'm going in the day after Christmas to get induced, so we'll see how that goes. We'll see how kind of life transitions. I have some pre-filled content ready to go whenever I kind of feel back to normal into the swing of things and maybe I'm just not able to record, so hopefully I'll have something for you guys towards the beginning of January. But we'll see how it goes. I hope I'm not going to be gone too long, but thank you guys so much for bearing with me however long this little break is going to be. And if you want to see what the little guy looks like when he does come, be following me on Instagram because I'll definitely be sharing in Instagram stories and I'll probably share a little picture on my Instagram feed just for you guys to see and announce his arrival. It is supposed to be a boy. But anyway, yeah, I think that's going to do it for this video. Thank you guys so very much for watching and I will see you whenever my next video is. I have no idea when that is, but I will see you hopefully shortly in that video. Bye guys.